For British cuisine, this is like one of the most exciting days of the year.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about this new list, the new stars, the new announcements?
This was a very exciting year for us. 17 new 1-stars, 1 new 2-star, and 1 new 3-star. That's really an incredible success for the British cooking community. So it was not only a wonderful year for our inspectors, but also a very exciting one for the cooking community in Great Britain and Ireland.
Yeah, and obviously the Michelin guide is very closely associated with fine dining.
Yeah.
But the industry is changing a lot. It's more accessible. It's more open to people. How is the Michelin guide adapting to the changes?
Well, the stars are the most visible part of what we do, but that's usually only about 15% of a given selection. So we do have the Bib Gourmands, which are great value for money restaurants, and we also have restaurants that are just in the selection without any particular distinction. But those restaurants, just being in the Michelin Guide is a sign of good cooking. But certainly our inspectors have seen over the years there is a move towards more casual dining, and now you can go to a pub and have a Michelin-starred meal. So that's a very interesting development.
Yeah. So you are also a food expert. You've been dining pretty much everywhere, all over the world, but also in Britain for many years. How did you see it changing the food scene here?
I've been coming to Britain for now over 30 years, and way back when, the fine dining establishments were mainly French. It was the Roux brothers at the Waterside Inn or Le Gavroche. It was Jean-Pierre Kaufmann at Le Temps Clair. And you had a few guys coming up like Marco Pierre White, Gordon Ramsay. That was the beginning of modern British cooking. And then there was a whole slew of new guys. You had Jason Atherton, Simon Rogan, Ollie Dabous, and others who are too numerous to mention, who were British-born, British-trained chefs using British ingredients, having learned technique either in the UK or elsewhere, and developing their own signatures, transforming these marvelous British products into superb cuisine. And that was really the birth of modern British cuisine. And today, modern British cuisine has taken its rightful place on the worldwide stage in gastronomy.
And that's very exciting. But I noticed that this year in London, apart from Phil Howard, all the chefs who won a new star are from abroad, basically. French, Japanese, Chinese, Aquavit as well from abroad.
Interesting because this is funny because usually London overshadows outside of London. This year we saw these young British chefs outside of London. So I think it's very interesting. I think London remains arguably one of the most international cities in the world. There's no question about that. But also, I think you're also finding young British chefs trying. Hey, maybe they come from the Midlands, or they come from Devon or wherever, or Sussex, and they say, hey, I'm going to go home, try my own, hang out my shingle, open my own restaurant, and see if I can make it. And we think that's a very exciting trend.
The obvious question: how can you keep it consistent? The Michelin Guide from the US to Japan.
It's the fact that, first of all, our inspectors are all Michelin employees. They're all salaried Michelin employees. They're all food experts. They always are anonymous. They always pay their bills, and they apply the 5 Michelin criteria: quality of ingredients, mastery of cooking technique, harmony and equilibrium in flavors, regular consistency over time and throughout the menu, and value for money. So it's those unique Michelin inspectors applying that methodology that enables us to be consistent. We also moved inspectors from all over the place. So we obviously had a Japanese inspector come over and eat in Iraqi this year to see if that 3-star Japanese restaurant is on the same level as a 3-star restaurant in Japan. That's very important for us. So we bring inspectors to visit chefs from different countries, and we think that really helps us with consistency.
I understand that many years ago you worked in the Michelin star restaurant.
I did.
Yeah. What do you remember about that? What the excitement of the Michelin star?
I remember working from 9 in the morning until 11 at night with a 3-hour break. It was in 1979, and it was at a restaurant called the Bistro 121 on Rue de la Convention in the 15th arrondissement in Paris. I was doing my technical studies at the Ferrandi, de l'École Ferrandi. It was a great period. I was a young man, but I decided after a little over a year that maybe my destiny was not to be a chef, and so I decided to do other things with my life. But it's obviously a huge personal pleasure for me to come back and find myself in this role.
And last question, in a much globalized world where everything is modern now in terms of distance and time, is Michelin considering doing something to wrap up the entire world of Michelin guides? Or...
Well, I will say this. I mean, last year we launched 3 new guides: Washington D.C., Shanghai, Singapore, and Seoul. This year we're launching Bangkok. We'll continue to develop our activity, continue to plant the Michelin flagpole around the world where we find exciting dining scenes. So, I don't know if we'll ever have a worldwide guide, because it would be impossible to have a one launch event a year, but we will continue to, as I said, plant the Michelin flagpole around the world where we find good food.
Thanks a lot
Thank
for
you.
talking to us.